media makers and storytellers actually have a great track record of embracing science and tech, whether it's dramatic theory and organically integrating, Aristotle's idea of drama. Or I remember when Avid and then Final Cut Pro were first coming into the filmmaking world, so many filmmakers and editors I talked to said, I'm never using it. I love the feeling of celluloid. I'm going to lose something. But what's really happened is that they've found that the net gain outweighs the loss, and there's a kind of freedom there. So I think the same thing we're going to see the same thing happen as filmmakers start to really think about their audiences in a more sophisticated way, and think about their goals for their media in a more sophisticated way.
One of the unintended consequences of having impact space there, it will make filmmakers think more clearly about goals and more clearly about audience. When I start consulting with filmmakers, I always ask them to, prioritize their goals, and rarely have they thought that through in any, clear way. And so with their exposure and use of impact space, I think it'll force them to think about categories from the beginning, and as they're going through a project, they can modify their goals, but always to have a framework that's clear to them and that they're working within. And then on the audience front, in my opinion, demographics and psychographics are basically useless ways of looking at audience. But looking at audience in terms of the ways people are organized online and in social media is extremely helpful. And so, that's obviously some of what's in the mix as you look at audience and do your analysis. And I think that will help people be more sophisticated and then be able to customize it for their particular projects. Because if ultimately their goal is to change the way people see the world, then I think this will be very catalytic for that.
Yeah, and when you think about social issue storytellers, I mean, in my mind, I have this picture of someone who's very tactical, who wants to make a difference in the world, who sees some injustice or something that needs to be addressed, and he's using film as a tool in that sense. And using data, I think, is a way, as Peter said, not only of setting a goal, but also knowing if you reach that goal. So if you say, my goal is to create a conversation about Rwandan genocide, you can qualitatively say, sure, there's a conversation that's happening, but it's not until you start embracing quantitative techniques that you can say, it's talking to these types of people, it's affecting them in these types of ways, it's taking place over this sort of time series. And I think this is all the power of the web in being able to go out and measure that, feed that into a plan, and then design the distribution strategy that actually helps you achieve the goal, as a sort of tactical storyteller.